Hello.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. We are still in the process of rebuilding how all of Stream stuff works following the laptop incidents. And I spent another hour and a half on it today, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this takes forever. Just the slow accretion of... Ooh, the camera's kind of cruddy, isn't it? Do we need more light? More light? I mean, whoa, now I'm totally washed up. That's... Well, if I lean back, I look okay.
If I lean back and sit at an angle. Right.
We're in that weird period of time where, like, there's some light outside, but there's not enough, and it's going to change really fast. The laptop incident sounds like a pseudoPod episode, right? It totally could be.
We have a story for you. We promise you
it's really freaking true. Yes, exactly. We're getting there. Maybe there will be some little improvements, like, I'll remember to turn that off until we actually start reading. Things like that. We'll get there, is what I'm saying, everybody. We'll get them. Good evening.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the stream.
We do three things on this show.
Thank you.
The first is an opening monologue. This gives you a chance to get settled. Make sure that your Roomba is medicated and your cat has done its chores. And get you ready for the evening. Then we will move on to the content.
The content.
And the content at the moment is the spectacular.
See, I've decided I'm going to rebel against the use of the word content.
How about the art?
Because, like algorithmic statistic generators like ChatGPT and Midjourney, they generate content. That's turned out. The arts. We will get on to this evening's dramatic resuscitation. You have already seen
some art with our amazing opening fan art spotlight.
Yes. This is me trying to push all the buttons at once.
And then we will move on to the other art, which is the main body of the show, which is going to be another part of a reading of There Is No Antimemetics Division by Quantum, which is fantastic.
And who was here in the chat? Good evening, Quantum.
Hey,
Thank you for joining us. Yes. And then after we have scared the pants off of you, in the British or American sense, do take your own pick.
Both pants.
Both pants.
It's pants all the way down.
It's pants all the way down. It's multi-pants offing. Okay, this is getting weird. After all of that, we will read some...
Loveliness.
Yes, it is a little Among Us in a pocket. Is it not adorable? He has a little guy. He has a little guy in his pocket.
Guy.
It's very cute. Pants all the way down. After we have scared people, we will have some fun and fluffy light stuff this evening, which is very thematically appropriate, given that this coming weekend is ArchiveCon.
Whoa!
Which is the free online 18+ digital convention about all things podcasty, geeky, but it's very heavily Magnus Archives themed, shall we say. It's a big surprise given and all y'all. Yours truly will be returning again this year. We've got a nice Q&A that's going to happen on Sunday. They are yet again in platforming my legal nonsense, and that I'm going to give a little presentation about what the Creative Commons is and why you should care no matter who you are, a fan or a creator or both, and how you can use it and how you can help it spread, because it is a good thing that lets people share their art, and because corporations are evil. The end. Cosplay, makeup, how-to, and also Marguerite. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. There will be like 3 of us there, and that's okay. Okay, where's Pine? Is Pine here? I need to slather Pine with love for being my one and only podcast super fan. For those of you who may have missed... Hello, there you are, darling! For those of you who may have missed it, this week's episode of Super Suits... Debbie. Has a debut of, her last name is Tops, isn't it? Debbie Tops, who is a criminal defense attorney in the Super Suits universe, plays by yours truly. They offered me a character who is a lawyer in a superhero world. You fools, you bad, bad fools. I have had all the fun. You have not yet heard all of the fun that I have had. You haven't heard him yet either. Oh, you've got a little dramatic underlighting going on right now with the iPad.
It's a little bogus journey.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, Super Suits, rip-roaring good time. Please come along. Poor little hero. They'll find their way eventually, won't they? I'm sure. What else happened this week? Oh my God, what did happen this week? We are a little bummed. There is a thing we are trying to do in our personal life that involves the largest financial transaction most people ever make in their lives.
We're buying an Xbox.
Okay, the second largest financial transaction most people will conduct in their lives. And it encountered probably fatal hiccups in it. It was badly timed and we were very pissed off. So we went out to dinner and ate our feelings and came home and now we feel a little better.
This also all happened on the same day where I had a job interview on Monday that went very well. And then on Tuesday, I got it didn't go that well email.
That's okay. That happens. Fatal hiccups does in fact sound painful. It will probably be. It was painful. It was rage-inducing and painful. And also I look very, very sweaty this evening. Because for people who are native to the island I am currently inhabiting, it is hot outside. To me, it is warm and comfortable, but way too freaking humid. And none of these buildings have air conditioning or proper ventilation. So we are all going to be a little southern this evening. You may hear fan noise in the background. With apologies. If I don't do that, he will melt into a puddle on air. So we've got the fan pointed at him. This had ice in it. Not so much anymore. But please, 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 please stay hydrated. Stay, drink lots of water, but not too much water. Water poisoning is a thing. It happens. It's bad. So please take care of yourselves. I'd say this is the right week to be in York, but no, it's just as bad up here. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Speaking of the north, shout out to our beloved moderator, Wendy, who has a migraine in this heat, poor darling, and is in bed. So please, everybody, take a second. Give love to Wendy. Wendy, we love you. We hope you are feeling better soon. And that you will have much love to Wendy on the VOD. Thank you very much. Poor Wendy. Yes, very much so. And I haven't even had my ice cream for the day yet.
No, you have not.
I'm like, should I eat ice cream at people on stream? That would be rude. I will not be doing that.
Okay.
Has that covered everything?
I think so.
Well, we haven't talked about what's going to happen next week, but we'll do that later. How's that sound?
That's the fun bit.
Sounds very good. Oh, Rebecca, are you running getting it together again? Evil shenanigans, I'm sure, will occur.
Fantastic.
I mean, people understand the need for ice cream. Yes, I know, but if I don't bring enough for the whole class, I mean, teacher will take it away from me.
Spoken like an oldest sibling.
My client pleads Mambo number 5. Thank you very much. Let's move on quickly. How about you? What else has been going on this week?
I had a job interview. I did not progress.
Don't like it.
I had a driving lesson last week where my instructor asked when my test was booked for, and I said,
and he sucked his teeth at you.
And I told him, and he said, "So how do you feel about it?" And I said, "I think I'll be ready for it." He said, "You will need more lessons." So I was like, "Thanks."
Yeah.
Thanks. Great.
It has been a confidence whack shaking kind of week. So we're find and joy where we can, and sometimes that's in ice cream, and sometimes that's in fried food. and sometimes it's in reading you scary stories.
Yeah. I'm playing a good game at the moment. I'm playing Trek to Yomi, which is not in gameplay terms isn't that great. It's a walk to the right and murder game.
Slay people in that direction.
But it is stunningly beautiful. It is a walk to the right and murder game designed to look like a 1960s Japanese supernatural samurai movie.
It looks really cool when I look up at it from my book every once in a while.
In like grays and stark light, and it's really cool. If you have PlayStation Plus, it is one of this month's free games.
Oh, nice.
And somehow I played that before I played Jurassic World Evolution, Sim Jurassic Park, which is also welcome to Jurassic Park.
Oh, is that one of those games where you have to set a timer to remind yourself to like stop playing? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No. I want to play, what is it called? Mask of the Rose?
Mask of the Rose.
That just came out. And it has all these settings for like, do you want a romantic encounter? Do you want an adventurous encounter? Do you want a narrative encounter? I'm like, this is very compelling. Please tell me more.
I also had it confirmed a Steam code is on the way for Love Shore as well.
Love Shore. Remind me.
Cyberpunk visual novel that I showed you.
Oh, yes, where everybody was very pretty and there was lots of neon.
Yeah, I showed you the trailer for it, and you were like, yes, this, please, thank you.
Right, it does. Mask of the Rose looks like more of this whole fallen Victorian London, oh, by the way, we got rid of the racism, you're welcome, type of stuff.
I was unaware of racism in there.
Victorian London.
Oh, not so much racism in the game as racism in the inherent subject matter. I welcome the context.
At least, historically, yes, but also much more representation. And a lot of games now are doing a really good job of being like, no, these people existed all throughout history and we're rich and powerful just like all the other white people, so let's show their stories as well, which I appreciate.
I am so happy that you've played Outer Wilds. That is such a lovely, lovely game.
Outer Wilds is so near and dear to my heart. We streamed a good chunk of it, Quantum, on our Sunday morning stream. In fact, I haven't finished it yet, and I haven't done any of the DLC at all.
Or touched basically your second game DLC.
I've been playing Fallen London since it was Echo Bazaar. Old school. I love it. They get to say swears in the new Final Fantasy. My babies are all grown up. Do they have people who aren't white? Because they still haven't done that with Final Fantasy.
Which is the one that Jason Isaacs has just turned up in.
That is Baldur's Gate 3. And my favorite fan artist in the world, her name is Amio, has lost her collective shit because Jason Isaacs is her all-time favorite actor. And now he's playing... oh no! A scruffy anti-hero party member / potential romance character.
Who you can save.
And I'm like, oh crap! I bought that game.
Years ago.
I haven't even installed it on this new laptop. Don't let me install it on this new laptop or somebody's gonna have to come in here and nudge me and make me leave.
Don't we have a Steam Deck so you could run it in here and play it in the...
Yes! But shut up!
Hold on for a moment.
No, coquettishly. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I have too many games I want to play, and they still make me exchange my labor for filthy lucre. It's not fair.
When Dragon Age 4 comes out, you are going to kick
I'm taking time off work.
Yeah.
No, don't even talk to me about how upset I am that we went through all of the Game Awards without a single shred of information about Dreadwolf. Not one.
Incidentally,
not one.
Did you see
I was personally affronted.
Did you see the very unfortunate piece of Mass Effect merchandise that was briefly available?
Please don't tell. It was at the corpse. They did a statuette of Shepard's corpse
and it was just
from the cold open of 2. I'm like, fucking excuse me, please. Oh my god.
And it was just FemShep.
No, of course the protagonist is not going to talk this time because it could. But if so, I hereby demand a remake where the hero Ferelden has a voice. Thank you very much. You know that meme, of the kid drowning in the foreground and the other kid being helped by a parent in the background? And then it cuts to, okay, here's Hawk over here drowning. And they're like, look, it's the protagonist of Dreadwolf. We're going to save you. And then it cuts to the skeleton on the chair underwater. Hero of Ferelden. Okay, I am there. That joke was for me.
It's funny you should mention
Thank you very
that,
much.
Because I saw that meme used earlier today to describe my new favourite podcast. I am absolutely adoring Liminal London on Realms of Power and Glory. It is a bunch of podcast luminaries, one of whom is St. Kilda's very own Naomi, who may or may not be in the chat. And it is a Ben Aronovich-style weird supernatural shenanigans in London actual play. The two things which have really pushed it over the top for me as an actual play I can get behind are, firstly, every episode is not 6 hours long.
Right, who has time in this economy?
And secondly, it's very good. Zach, the GM, is also a fantastically good
GM
producer.
Okay.
So
Jesus Christ, look at my spit curl. It's full on going on today.
So the sound effects and production are very, very good. And also the 3 players are just top notch. There is a werewolf who was going for a job interview at a restaurant when she's pulled off it to go on this job. A former police officer cursed by one of the fairy princes of London who has to ankle grind the antlers down every morning on his forehead.
Okay.
And Monty.
Naomi's character, I'm assuming.
Naomi is playing Monty, who is one of a group of semi-feral Cockney children who are also sorcerers. And it's very
Naomi is having a good time.
It's very Naomi. Naomi goes full Naomi about 2 minutes in and just doesn't stop. It's great.
I'm so surprised. I'm totally so surprised. Right, why don't we do a little bit of recap and a little bit of reminder about the content warnings for this, and then everybody can like settle in and we'll get started. We're gonna try and there have at least 2 chapters and hopefully a third that we're gonna get through tonight. So we should probably. I love when Naomi goes full Naomi. She's so powerful. Yes, she is 100%. Reminds me, isn't there a party next month? Speaking of Naomi.
Are we? What?
Never mind.
Yes.
Sorry, it's just the back of my brain going random fact.
I should carry this around more often.
Why?
It's very gesticulatey.
Okay. You just like to point at people and say, no. Coquettishly. Yes, it's that word. That's okay. Right. Recap. I do believe that the last time we were reading There's No Antimemetics Division, that we may have set off a nuke that ended the world.
Yes, that is in fact entirely correct. The first part of There Is No...
No, you are sucking the lonely.
The first part of There Is No Antimemetics Division follows our intrepid heroine as she explains exhaustedly, again, not for the first time, to both a colleague and a co-worker that sizable portions of their life have either been suppressed or straight up eaten by antimemetic life forms that basically feed off your inability to perceive them. And
or at least predate based on that basis.
Predate exactly. On them. And all of this boils down to the discovery that there is something very large and very hungry that's coming, that may in fact have arrived once or twice before, and that the various iterations of the Antimemetics Division have been fighting a series of increasingly hopeless holding actions. Holding actions they haven't even noticed or been allowed to remember have taken place.
Well, that's a very useful piece of text there. Thank you very much, Stream Deck. That link is for the collection of the previous chapters. This is installment number 4. There have been 3 previous streams, and we've reached the conclusion of part 1.
Where this...
Oh, you're welcome. Nice.
This particular SCP manifests, and our heroine triggers the one bomb they have that essentially wipes all memory of it from the surrounding area.
Oh, by the way, also taking enough anti-nestic drugs in the process to guarantee her death.
Yes. So, the end of part 1. The end of part 1.
The world has ended and the protagonist is dead.
And now...
Interlude. I think this one is for me, and then you get the next one.
Okay.
All right. But first, we forgot content warnings, right? There are a lot of horror and mental health related themes in this book. As always, you can find a link there with a great deal more detail, which may contain spoilers. But headlines, there are a lot of creepy crawlies in this. So there's a lot of common phobias. There's a whole lot of death and dying. We talk about all the horror themes, many of the mental health and trauma themes. There's some sociopolitical content. There's a great deal of violence, both physical and mental. There's drug use, specifically needles, smoking, and swearing. So if you need more detailed for tonight's content, please go ahead and check out that link. But otherwise, we will get started with the interlude. SCP-2256. Very Tall Things. Item number, SCP-2256. Object class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Information about SCP-2256 is subject to a gradual antimemetic corrosion effect. Corrosion occurs at differing rates depending on the level of detail and accuracy in the information and the physical complexity of the storage medium. In-depth academic papers, photographs, and information stored electronically decay rapidly. Broad descriptions, pencil sketches, and paperwork decay slowly. Therefore, this electronic database entry should describe SCP-2256 only in broad terms. Detailed information about 2256's appearance, theorized evolutionary ancestry, biology, diet, behavior, vocalizations, life cycle, intelligence, ecological role and cultural significance should be stored in hard copy at Site 19, Vault 1053. The rate of corrosion in both data sources should be monitored carefully, although at present no technique is known for halting or undoing such corrosion. Although these antimemetic effects linger at rate Euclid classification, 2256 itself is extinct and requires no special containment procedures. Description: SCP-2256, Cryptomorphia gigantes, is a species of gigafauna which was endemic to the South Pacific Ocean around the islands of Polynesia. 2256 was one of the very few recorded species known to have developed rudimentary perceptual or antimemetic camouflage, rendering them nearly impossible for other sentient beings to perceive or remember. This adaptation is theorized to have arisen in order to elude predators. 2256 was the largest species to have lived on Earth. Resembling spindly, vertically elongated giraffes or brachiosauruses, adults of the species grew to over 1,000 meters in height. They weighed no more than 4 tons, with most of their mass being camouflaged by a similar adaptation. With their broad dish-shaped feet, they were able to walk directly on the surface of the ocean without sinking. SCP-2256 navigated the ocean alone, or in redacted, of 2 to as many as 2,000 individuals. They were reluctant to approach land, especially inhabited islands, usually staying more than 30 kilometers offshore. Because of their height, they were visible on the horizon at this distance. Acquisition. And apologies in advance, I'm going to try with these pronunciations. I'm probably going to make a mistake. Polynesian natives of the island of Matiki used a substance called teococa for recreational and other religious purposes. As well as being a modern psychedelic, this drug had nemestic properties, suppressing antimemetic effects and making entities camouflaged in this way easier to see and remember. Thus, the Mycetians, apologies again, were for hundreds of years the only people able to see SCP-2256. In Mycetian mythology, 2256 were wandering spirits whom the gods had charged with maintaining the horizon to ensure that the sky and the water never mixed. They were characterized as well-meaning and friendly, but unintelligent and awful deficient in their duties, resulting in storms and typhoons. They were called Polo Onogaku, the ones who walk very slowly. In 1991, an internal biochemistry study revealed that Teococa bore a strong chemical resemblance to the Foundation's own Class W nemestic. A Foundation anthropologist was assigned to follow Redacted, the Makikan legend, and became the first outsider to observe Redacted 2256. An observation redacted was quickly redacted on the island to study the creatures. Routine containment analysis found that 2256 was designation safe and required no special containment procedures or even particular redacted secrecy. History. SCP redacted immediately proved to be impossible to capture photographically. Photographic negatives of the species faded into transparency over the redacted a few minutes. Similar decay redacted affected videotape, audio tape, celluloid film, digital and electronic scans redacted. The observation team soon returned most of their equipment to inventory and proceeded using pencils and redacted. At the time, it redacted what believed that such recordings would be effective permanently. I've just made an observation about this.
Which is?
That I need to line up all of the redacted words and see what they might be saying, because some of them, we should know what they are.
Like the SCP.
Yeah. SCP-2256's population declined slightly in 1992 and in 93, then dropped sharply from 94 onwards. A combination of contributing factors were observed: illness, infertility, and a redacted rate of stillbirths. In 2002, a field generator was developed which could penetrate and neutralize 2256's antimemetic redacted, allowing for conventional photography. The first and only close-up photograph of one of the creatures instantly killed it. It was concluded that direct observation of 2256 is injurious to redacted. This adaptation is believed to have arisen as a means of detecting predators, just as 2256's antimemetic camouflage protected them from those same predators. Use of redacted generator was immediately curtailed. It was subsequently hypothesized that the Foundation's ongoing passive observation of the species was intense enough to have harmful effects on 2256, and that redacted was what was driving the species' redacted extinction. Opinions differed sharply redacted veracity of this hypothesis, over redacted thoroughly it should be tested, and over what redacted be done to it if it proved to be true. Several extreme options were redacted, including redacted, exterminating redacted to preserve the data, and completely expunging the data to preserve redacted 2256. No firm conclusions, redacted. In 2003, observations of 2256 was scaled back significantly, and the Foundation redacted focus from gathering redacted data to analyzing redacted data. However, 2256's population continued to redacted. The last individual died near Tokeleu, redacted October 30th, 2006. Redacted 2010 redacted discovered redacted, the antimemetic camouflage redacted, also characterized as decay or corrosion, was spreading through paper records of redacted. As of redacted, more redacted, 60% of redacted documents are redacted, even with redacted strong memestic dose. The effect is even redacted SCP entry itself, despite redacted shielding and redundancy in redacted system. Since redacted extinct, redacted new data redacted, it can be generated. It is redacted that full contamination, redacted, 3 to 8 years.
Yeah, you can see what a lot of those words should be.
Yep. And now, just to break for a second, I need to sit down with a piece of paper and be like, is this a message or is this giving illustration to the effect of what's happening?
Yeah.
Or is it both, which would be even cooler? Okay.
Part 2. 55555. SCP-3125. The Escapee. Item SCP-3125. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3125 is kept inside Cognito Hazard Containment Unit 3125 on the first floor of Site 41. The containment unit is a 10 meter by 15 meter by 3 meter cuboidal room clad in layers of lead, soundproofing, and telepathic shielding. Access is through an airlock system at one end of the containment unit. This airlock is programmed to allow only one person to enter the containment unit at a time and to remain locked until this person exits before allowing another to enter. Under no circumstances may any coherent information be allowed to leave the unit. This includes written and electronic notes, photographs, audio and video recordings, sound, electromagnetic and particle-based signals, and psi emanations. During the exit cycle, a purge system rigged to the airlock flushes the occupant's memory by flooding the airlock with nestic gas for 3 minutes. A senior Antimemetics Division staff member must visit SCP-3125 every 6 weeks or 42 days. End of file. You want to take this one?
Item number SCP-3125. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures, SCP-3125, is subject to inverted containment protocols and is present everywhere in reality, except for those places which have been specifically purged of its influence. The interior of Cognitohazard Containment Unit 3125 on Site-41, where this document resides, is the only location in the world known to have been sufficiently purged in this way. This containment unit is a 10 meter by 15 meter by 3 meter cuboidal room clad in layers of lead, soundproofing material, and telepathic shielding. Access is through an airlock system at one end of the containment unit. This airlock is programmed to allow only one person to enter the containment unit at a time and to remain locked until this person exits before allowing another person to enter. Under no circumstances may any coherent information be allowed to leave this containment unit. This includes written and electronic notes, photographs, audio and video recordings, sound, electromagnetic and particle-based signals, and psi emanations. A purge system read to the airlock flushes the occupant's memory by flooding the airlock with amnestic gas for 3 minutes during the exit cycle. An alternate SCP entry must be maintained in the main Foundation database, giving only the technical specifications of the containment unit, provision for senior Antimemetics Division staff to visit the unit's interior on a regular basis, and no description. Description. SCP-3125 is an extremely large, see full, what is that Greek letter?
Which one?
Omega?
I believe it is Omega.
Omega dimensional fractal topology at attachment 13. Highly aggressive, anomalous, metastasized meme complex, originating externally to our reality and now partially intersecting it. SCP-3125 is adapted for survival in an eidetic ecology considerably more violent and hostile than our own. Here, our own refers to human headspace, the set of all ideas which humans have or are biologically capable of having. Because humans have no natural exposure to ideas as aggressive as SCP-3125, human minds have no protective evolutionary adaptations against it. Individuals possessed of 3125 become incapable of entertaining weaker conventional ideas, and become instead wholly bodily subordinate to the purpose of serving and disseminating the core concepts of 3125. In addition, although undergoing no outwardly visible physical alteration, they cease to be externally recognizable as human. 3125 is not yet entirely present in our reality. Upon its arrival, the highly interconnected nature of human knowledge exchange systems means that it will take no longer than 12 hours, possibly as few as 4 hours, to encompass, dominate, and replace all human thought. At this point, humanity as an abstract concept, along with all attendant abstracts such as civilization, culture, society, community, and family, will have ceased to exist. The Foundation terms such an eventuality an MK class, end of the world scenario. The Foundation possesses numerous proven techniques for arresting the spread of such aggressive idea complexes, but these are all rendered unworkable in practice by 3125's autonomic defense response and boundary layer. Fully assembling a mental picture of 3125 and perceiving its true shape causes 3125 in turn to be able to perceive the observer. It then attacks the observer, killing them. The mechanism of the attack is unclear, but appears to at least be partially physical. Mental bystanders, individuals whose thoughts and ideas resemble those of the observer, are also attacked. This invariably includes the observer's entire extended research group, and often their close family, parents, and offspring. The attack has the net effect of erasing all knowledge, both of 3125 and its attack, from the world. This informational numbing effect performs a similar function to the anesthetic saliva of a mosquito's bite, enabling 3125 to evade detection prior to its full incarceration. Foundation staff discovering 3125 may be able to escape its attack via prompt use of nestic medication to erase their knowledge of it. In either case, the net result is that the interior of a suitably shielded containment unit is the only location where it is safe to observe, record, or even acknowledge the existence of 3125. Outside of such a containment unit, a true written description of 3125 would constitute a lethal cognitohazard. 3125 could be effectively neutralized using a machine proposed by the late Dr. Bartholomew Hughes called an irregularity amplifier. See schematics, attachment 129. However, as well as requiring tremendous material resources, this machine could not be constructed without its builders understanding why it was being built, which would require an understanding of 3125, which would prove fatal to the project. No means of neutralizing 3125 using only the resources in this room is known. We got to pause here for a little quick ad break, and then we'll come back to continue the history of this SCP entry. Let's see if I was smart enough programming this button. Shall we find out? We've got about another minute left on the ad break. Oh, wow. I can turn the light down now that we've turned on some more ambient light. There. Oh, okay. You still have your wonderful dramatic underlighting, though.
I feel like Joss Ackland in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Right. They're melvin to me. Anyway, I love the question that got asked in the chat of I dread to think what kind of idea this thing's what kind of idea are this thing's natural predators?
Yeah.
Right? It is a very good question. Yes, dramatic Alistair is of course dramatic. Very much so. Cutie.
By the way, we've just hit one of my favorite things in this entire book. I love 2256.
You do?
22. It's a kilometer tall
giraffe spider.
Mimetically invisible aquatic giraffe spider.
I know, right? Fantastic. All right. 2256 is a fan favorite, right? We need plushies.
We do. Even just a plushie of a leg.
Right, just a plushie of a leg with a round disc foot, right? I want a plushie. All right, let's continue this. So kind of like what I take away from it with like the repeat of the 3125 entry is that we have the version that's in the database.
Yeah.
And now we're reading the version that exists.
Yeah.
In the Vegas room. But more importantly, because this is the third entry in a row for this thing.
Yep.
I think the first entry about, oh, I'm in here and a staff member has to come in and see me, I think that's bait. I think it's trying to change the data, and the 3125 is trying to change the database entry to bait in people to come looking for it. And now we're reading kind of like Kim encountered
the Alistair Gray creature.
Right, which is 3125. Yeah. We're now reading the real entry that exists in 3125. All right, go for it.
History. Due to the described defense mechanism, SCP-3125's observation history is almost entirely missing. In particular, it is unclear exactly how this containment unit came to be built and how these containment procedures were established. Much data has been accrued in this containment unit over the course of successive visits by Foundation researchers. This data was brought from the outside in the hope of being useful and left here in accordance with containment procedures. In addition to this database entry, the reader will find multiple electronic copies of the Foundation database, academic datasets of all kinds, and extensive public use archives. As is to be expected, much of this data is not germane to the topic of containing SCP-3125. Nevertheless, correlation and analysis by successive visitors has allowed the following facts to emerge. 1. Although SCP-3125 is not yet fully present in our reality, its indirect effects, foreshocks, for example, SCP-redacted, 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 and SCP-plus-redacted, are easily discovered by any well-equipped memetics research project. 2.
Wait a minute.
You notice the weird square and the plus sign?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry folks, but if you look at the text for this particular point, I've never seen an SCP plus before. And I'm not, what I'm presuming is a redacted number, but interesting. Keep going.
Memetics research is today...
Number 2, yeah.
Number 2.
Sorry.
It's okay. Memetics research is today a much diminished science from when it was at its peak. In mid-2008, there existed more than 400 institutions pursuing research likely to uncover SCP-3125, including government agencies, military branches, private corporations, independent laboratories, university research projects, and notable amateur groups. Many of these were GOIs or internal divisions within GOIs. None of these groups still exist, except for the Foundation's Antimemetics division. 3. Almost nobody in the world is consciously aware of this decline, and explanations for the disappearance of these groups have not been forthcoming. Simple deduction gives that all of these groups eventually discovered SCP-3125 and were consumed by it, and that this is in fact the inevitable fate of all competent memetics research. The Antimemetics Division's persistence is attributed to its specialist training and its ready access to reliable nestic medication. Despite this, the Division too has shrunk considerably in recent years from a reported staff of well over 4,000 people in 2012 to, as of September 2015, 125. This figure is on track to reach 0 before the end of 2015. Over the same period, the Division's physical worldwide presence has similarly shrunk from a network of sites and smaller outposts on every continent to this single site. Site 41. In particular, the Division's headquarters at Site 167 are now missing from the Division's collective memory and presumed neutralized by SCP-3125's concealment response.
Do you want me to take this one?
If you wouldn't mind.
Addendum. Further analysis of the available data, specifically architectural diagrams of Site 41, Attachment 38, indicates the existence of a second containment unit on Site 41, conforming to the same basic design philosophy as this one. This second unit, SO41B30-000, was built 210 meters below ground level. It features identical broad-spectrum information cladding, but has more than 1,000 times the volume of Cognitohazard Containment Unit 3125, along with an amnestic airlock large enough to ingest a 20-foot equivalent unit shipping container. Information relating to the date of construction and purpose of 041B300-000 is absent from Foundation records and is presumed to have been deliberately erased. The unit itself is hermetically sealed and has been for an indeterminate period of time. Regardless of 041 B300 000 B30 000's intended purpose, it, like any such containment unit, is capable of acting as a shelter from SCP-3125.
Addendum 2. You want me to do this one?
I'll do it.
You do it.
I think... Right. Addendum 2. And the rest, hopefully, is blindingly obvious. B30000 was originally constructed to house a long-term project to construct Hughes's irreality amplifier. While that's been going on, the rest of us have been fighting an unconscious war in order to buy time. We have been losing, but losing as slowly as humanly possible. The time we've bought is now up. That's an extremely bad sign that nobody inside B300 has broken the seal yet. But there's no ground left for us to cede, and there are no more bodies to throw into 3125's maw to slow it down. What is that Greek letter? Is that mu?
I think so.
I'm not sure. We're gonna call it mu. Mu is here, ready or not. I'm going to go to B30 and use the machine. I think I can get the information out through the airlock. I think I can get to the vault alive. It says I believe it's Va. Okay, Va is here. Fantastic. That's great. This was the plan. It's become garbled in the retelling because of variables, but I know that this was the plan because I know myself. What else could it have been? Standard procedure is that I have to tell you what to do next if this doesn't work. That's the asynchronous research covenant. But I don't have a good picture of who you can even be reading this and alive. If in your scenario there is no machine, Hughes is missing, I'm dead, the site is ruined, and how'd you even get in here? Can you be Foundation? Are you conscious? Is there a single word of this which you comprehend? You live in a world bathed with SCP-3125. That's the lost condition. I can't help someone who doesn't exist. Marion Wheeler, Chief of ANTIMEMETICS, November 30th, 2015.
Addendum 3. I found your body. And finding your body was a powerfully disorienting sensation for me. I don't mind admitting. I used to know Marion. During the brief period in which I knew her, she wasn't one to admit defeat as easily as you. Still, that was a long time ago. Far be it from me to tell you your business, but I fear you missed a trick. From the evidence I can see, this was never the only Antimemetics Division site. There were others. I imagine they're now all effectively invisible to most passers-by, of course, just like this one, but I presume that they, just like this one, still physically exist. Your plan, I think, was in place for longer than you know, and since you weren't at liberty to retain its details, you put it into action more than once. There is another vault fitting the description. Truck-sized nestic airlock and all. S167-001-6183. Site 167 is a non-entity, of course, which is most likely why you missed it. It's likely ruined, and it's quite definitely a long goddamned way from here on foot, but still, I think it's better than half a chance. I could die on this boondoggle too, naturally, as the world has become something of a horror show of late. In any case, I trust that anybody following in my footsteps and reading these additional words will have the presence of mind to pursue the same basic strategy. Still existing, despite everything. Adam Wheeler, Interloper, May 4th, 2017.
End of file.
Where have you been all my life?
Who the fuck infiltrates a senior Foundation official's home while they're home? Marion Wheeler leaves deep in
Coniferous.
Let me start again there. Marion Wheeler lives deep in coniferous forest, a long drive from the nearest major city, and a long drive in the opposite direction from Site 41. It's late. Last thing. And she's reading in bed when she hears the muffled, unmistakable click of her front door being unlocked. She looks up and stares blankly at the wall for a second while listening to soft footsteps moving into the hallway. She marks her place and reaches for her Foundation-issued phone. She has no permanent security staff at home. The division is understaffed and train operatives are in much more serious need on site. But the building and grounds have beefy electronic countermeasures. They, she discovers, have all been disabled, along with the sensors and cameras. She was not notified that this has happened. Whoever did it had a valid code. Who, though? The Foundation has enemies. True, the list of credible, motivated enemies is surprisingly short, and the list of groups stupid enough to try to kill or capture someone at her level is shorter. But it's far from empty, and it's not actually so hard a feat. Not too many people below 05 level are privileged to travel in motorcades. The real trick, the impossible trick, is to avoid unholy retaliation. What if you really think you can? What if you've decided it's worth it? Wheeler triggers the silent alarm. She sets her phone back down on the nightstand and collects her gun. She rolls out of bed, tucks a few pillows in her place, moves silently to her bedroom door, and stands beside it, listening and thinking. This door, her bedroom door, can't be opened silently. It creaks like hell, so if she goes through it, she'll have to be ready to draw attention. There's an attic, but access is out there on the landing, and again, can't be operated silently. There's no alternate route to ground level other than jumping from the window, and someone has to be covering that. Even if she landed in the bushes alive, she'd still have to break the perimeter with a sprained ankle. A better question than who is how many. She may already be straight up dead, simply due to numbers. If the attackers tread cautiously and try to flush her out, she figures she can home alone her way through perhaps 8 of them before running out of luck. If they rush the second floor and have armor, she might be overwhelmed by as few as 2, even with the staircase acting as a choke point. All of this naturally assumes that the attackers aren't anomalous. If they are, and they're not in the, say, 30% of anomalies which can be neutralized simply by shooting them in the center mass or head, she may be fundamentally helpless even after the response team shows up, which will be at best 10 minutes from now. A creaking. This damn house. Someone is coming up the stairs, making no effort to be quiet about it. A soft tread, though, as if they removed their shoes? Just one of them? That barely makes sense. With 5 seconds grace, Wheeler casts around the dark room for a second weapon. She knows there are knitting needles downstairs in the lounge and knives, good ones, in the kitchen. But she can't get to them. It's too late. The door's opening. It seems like the man's trying to say something as he comes in, but he only gets as far as
Whoa!
And it's done. He's flat on his back, cheek pressed into the deep cream carpet, with Wheeler on his back, pinning both his wrists with her knees. She sights urgently back down the stairs for a second. There's no one there. She prods him in his other cheek with the muzzle of the gun. You speak, you die. You try to move, you die. She glances at the window, checks the stairs again, listens intently. There's no sound. There's nothing to be seen. The man is 50 and lanky. He wears an expensive dark suit, tailored to his build. He has angular features, thick graying hair, and rimless spectacles, now quite possibly bent out of shape by their sudden impact with the floor. He wears discreet platinum jewelry, a wristwatch, cufflinks, and a ring. The two of them halt like that at tableau. He makes no attempt to move, although he does look askance at Wheeler, as best he can given his dislodged glasses. Where are the others?
It's just me, Marion.
Who are you? He says nothing for a moment, but his expression slowly, subtly drops.
Oh. Well, it really happened, didn't it? I always wondered.
Who are you?
There is a monster which follows you around and eats your memories. SCP-4987. You drip feed it inconsequential trivia so it doesn't go after anything important. You watch game shows. The book you were reading just now on your nightstand, it's a trivia book, right?
Wheeler says nothing to confirm or deny this, although it's true. At feeding time, the entity manifests like a bright white gold spot in the corner of her eye. It's gone now. She's already putting the rest of it together. It's all mind-bogglingly, insultingly obvious. With a well-suppressed but still detectable note of dismay, she asks, "What's your name?"
Adam. Adam Wheeler.
Obviously, she has the man detained. She instructs her people to interrogate him, lightly, and to run deep background research on every word he utters, while for her part, she stands far back from the investigation to avoid contamination. She resists the urge to interfere, particularly to visit Adam and personally demand answers. She goes to her office, curls up on the couch there, and tries to catch some sleep, but doesn't succeed in any real sense. 7 hours later, a foundationer knocks on her office door, bringing an inch-thick block of printouts and a paralyzingly strong cup of coffee. Wheeler takes the drink first, accepting it as a kind of authentication step before letting the man in. She moves back to the couch and sits hunched over the drink for warmth, inhaling its fumes. The man settles heavily into a chair opposite. He's a misleadingly stocky, perpetually unshaven individual, somewhere just shy of 40, and inarguably the most dangerous person on the site. He's the division's physical fitness and combat instructor, and the leader of their solitary mobile task force. His name is Alex Goss.
They figured I should be the one to present their results, even though I didn't research one line of it, because we get along. Their words. Personally, I don't see it.
Wheeler stays focused on the coffee. Who is he? Gauss opens the first page of the report, more for show than anything, then closes it again.
He's your husband. Every word checks out. There is limitless physical evidence. Half of the division knows him socially, including me. I credit your diligence and adherence to protocol, but the bottom line is that SCP-4987 got hungry.
Wheeler nods. This assessment matches her own pieced together overnight from gut reactions and analysis of the plain facts. Where the hell else did her name come from? She wasn't born Wheeler, but she had to get independent verification. Has this happened before?
No.
Could it happen again?
You know better than anyone.
I would. I do, and I can tell you this. I have 4987 trained to follow me at my heel. I feed it according to a strict regimen. It eats only the memories I say it's okay to eat. A rapidly progressive, universally fatal memory parasite made chronic and then domesticated. And now what? It suddenly breaks training? That adds up?
If you say it doesn't add up, it doesn't add up. But speaking from field experience, anything can happen twice.
Wheeler has waited long enough and takes a long pull from the coffee. She stares into the coiling steam as if trying to see the future. But who is he? At this point, you know him better than I do. What's he like? Do you like him? Gauss grimaces extravagantly. This is the great-great-grandmother of all loaded questions. Wheeler looks him in the eye and says, "Tell me your personal assessment of Adam Wheeler. Direct order."
He's nice enough.
Nice enough?
I don't like him, he admits. Personally, all that much. We're civil, but we'll always be a little bit too smug and a little bit too clever. He's just great, you know? Would I throw someone in a cell for that? No.
Do I like him?
You.
Gauss begins, then stops. He looks away, and over time a soft smile develops on his face, one which Wheeler doesn't recall ever seeing before, not in a working relationship going back years.
Yeah, he's the one.
Full name: Adam Bellamy Wheeler, born February 27th, 1962 in Henge, Derbyshire, United Kingdom, to Rosemary Lee Wheeler, née Wist, and Jonathan Jack Philip Wheeler. No siblings. Early education: Henge Church of England Primary School, Matlock All Saints Secondary School, demonstrated great musical acuity from an early age. By age 16, had begun to be recognized as one of the most gifted classic violinists of his generation. Attended the Royal College of Wheeler skips 3 pages. After sustaining a mild injury while on tour in Redacted, he encountered SCP-4051, which had infested a wing of the hospital where he received treatment. SCP-4051 was protected by an unusual form of antimemetic camouflage to which Wheeler, like an estimated 1 in 145,000 individuals worldwide, was and remains immune. His attempt to alert authorities to the infestation's presence was intercepted by a Foundation listening station. Operative Marion A. Hutchinson, then a field agent based in another page, resistant to conventional memory erasure procedures. Hutchinson applied successfully for an exemption, arguing that even with his memories left intact, it would be impossible for Wheeler to share the details of SCP-4051. They subsequently became romantically involved. Oh, they subsequently became romantically involved, did they? Tell me more, you featureless gray sphere of a biographer. I'm hooked now! The biography is countless, contentless beyond this point. Adam Wheeler's life spent touring, playing, lecturing, and occasionally conducting, writing, and composing is documented in exhaustive, pointless detail. He withstands background checks and surveillance, and consistently demonstrates himself to represent zero risk of leak. He eventually receives the extremely low clearance level nominally granted to long-term Foundation external partners of Foundationers. They get married. She takes his name, which she, reading, considers faintly unrealistic. Blah, blah, blah. There's nothing about his personality, nothing about their relationship, no content. She remembers acquiring SCP-4051. There was no one there. She remembers nothing.
Up until the end of the 3rd round of questioning, Adam Wheeler assumes good faith. He figures the repetition is a due diligence tick, a corporate procedural requirement. It's only when they start over from "What's your name?" with a brand new interviewer for the 4th time that he finally gets it. They don't like him, and they don't care what he thinks his name is. They are trying to grind him down until he can't think, until he's just dust particles. They sift for data. He reacts badly to this realization. He asks for his wife, and asks for his wife, and they ignore him. And they ignore him, and she persistently fails to appear, until it becomes a cold form of torture. The questions keep coming, and nothing stops them. Not answering truthfully, not answering, not lying, not rambling off on tangents. They don't stop until he begins falling asleep, in the middle of his own sentences. He wakes up in a standard humanoid containment unit, a stackable 1-bedroom apartment with holographic fake windows, impregnable walls, and extensive discrete modifications for the security and monitoring of anomalous entities. This one is on the 1st basement level, but he can't tell that. The bright, quote, light, unquote, pouring in through the main living area window is authentic enough to tan. He wakes up on the couch with a start, feeling creaky and dehydrated. He realizes that he slept in his suit, and that his suit is creased. He hates that sensation of not looking his best, or at least presentable. That's going to gnaw away at him until he can find, at minimum, a razor and a change of shirt. What woke him was the heavy metallic clack of the door unlocking. He looks up, rubbing his eyes. It's his wife. Marion! Oh my God! He leaps up and rushes over to meet her, and she stops him a few paces short, with a gesture and a cold smile. And that hurts. That hurts more than anything. Oh, it's really happened. SCP-4987 has bitten out the part of Marion Wheeler that cared about him. She wasn't absent because of some unrelated K-class outbreak. She just chose to be elsewhere. Indifferent. So he doesn't embrace her. He stands at a polite distance. How are you feeling? Did you sleep?
I'm fine.
I can tell you've had your coffee. Have you eaten? Come on, I'll make you something. The unit has a rudimentary kitchen area. He goes through and starts exploring the cupboards. There must be something edible around here. Eggs and milk, at least. I am ashamed to say I more or less fell asleep where I was standing when they put me here, so I haven't had a chance to scout. Or do you keep the place empty and the food arrives through a slot in the wall, or...
Mr. Wheeler...
Adam shoots her a disappointed look.
Okay. Adam, please come and sit down. You're right. There's nothing in any of those cupboards.
He closes the cupboard and sits opposite her at the kitchen table. Scrambled eggs on granary toast. he suggests, with a lot of garlic in the eggs. That's what we both need right now, particularly you. Because if I don't make something substantial for you, you end up drinking those fucking wretched wallpaper paste milkshakes 7 days a week, or you skip the meal entirely.
Adam, we've been married for 17 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
I don't know you.
That's fine. I doubt that that's going to be a serious problem. You've told me many times about your own people who've lost themselves in the work and had to bootstrap their own personalities a second time. You love watching it. It's like watching butterflies emerge from chrysalites. The best of your people can turn that around in 10 weeks. Imagine how fast that's going to be for you.
No. Her tone is clinical. Matter of fact, I'm afraid it's not possible.
What's not possible?
I can't begin a new relationship right now. Certainly not something as serious as a marriage. You have nominal clearance. You know what I do. I have responsibilities. I do not have time.
This isn't new. This is pre-existing.
No. That relationship is ended now, and we are somewhere else.
Adam stares at her for a long moment, thin-lipped and far from happy. What do you remember?
The question is so open-ended that Wheeler doesn't manage to respond verbally. She spreads her hand slightly, the gesture saying, "What?"
You don't remember me, Adam says. SCP-4987 also clearly ate the part of you which would care if you forgot me. And additionally, the part of you that cares about brunch. What else have you forgotten would be a stupid question to ask, so instead I'm asking you what's left. I want you to tell me everything you can remember.
Everything I can remember.
Yes, from 1995 to right now.
It's still a farcical question at face value, and Wheeler's first instinct is to dismiss it as such. But she thinks again. She thinks, intending to genuinely try to answer the question. And she finds gaps. There's a dearth of specifics. It's like being asked to say something and immediately forgetting all the words. I remember working and driving home, and then sleep, and then driving back to work. Big, hostile buildings, drug regimens, containment procedures, endless piles of opaque numbers, personal fitness drills, running, calculating, never ever stopping calculating. She remembers with unfair clarity a large variety of extremely bad dreams. And other than that, nothing. A huge, deep, ragged-edged black pit.
You remember nothing good, do you? Nothing good at all. When you come home, on the nights you make it home, you are ready to fold up. It has never been an easy job, but these past few years have been the worst they've ever been, because you are coming to the conclusion of something gigantic. You have explained to me how it is that you can never tell me, really, what it is that you do without the act of you telling me, killing me. And I couldn't stand that at first, and I still hate your job, and I still think it's a monstrous farce, but I trusted you in that, and I stopped asking. But I can tell from the rattle in your hands and the things you don't say and the way that you sleep, there is some kind of war going on back here, and you're losing people to it. And you're almost at the end. And you're going to win. So I scramble your eggs, play the violin, and between us we hack out about 3/10 of what I would consider to be normalcy. Not because you can't do this without me. You could take the whole universe by yourself if you really had to. But fuck that. You don't have to. Didn't happen instantly. Did happen fast. We had music in common at first, Bach and Mendelssohn. We had tobacco, and then a mutual hatred of the X-Files. Then it was coffee and wine, and then after some time it became hiking and birdwatching and Perseid meteors. We like Bruce Lee flicks. We watch Law and Order and Jeopardy. We read stacks and stacks of books. No, in fairness, it's mainly me for the books. You don't have the long-term time to spare anymore. He pinches the bridge of his nose for a second. Any two people can find that much common ground. Just being in the same place for years doesn't count for anything. What do they have? We communicate, he says, better than anybody I've seen. We can be apart for 2 months while I'm on tour or you're overseas and snap right back and pick up a conversation from the word we left off. We are connected. We are in the same headspace. You will see it all. It will happen again just as fast. Just got to give it a chance.
Wheeler is almost there. She sees the shape of what Adam is describing. It's distant and unclear, but if she concentrates, she might be able to bring it into focus. It worries her for nebulous reasons she can't completely articulate, but she can almost understand how there could be room for it, how it could lock into her life as it currently exists and still make sense. But Adam just said something crucial. He said a key word which means the marriage counseling session is over and this is now a situation. Wheeler can't ignore it. She forces herself to drop the other thread and she seizes this one. What war?
And now Adam really doesn't know what's happening. Good God, the war, Marion. I don't know how else to describe it.
What war? How many people?
I don't know. There are names you stop mentioning, and then you ignore me when I bring them up again. I assume there are reasons. I don't know the specifics. How could I know? Why don't you know?
Wheeler races through the reasoning. The existence of a war computes. It confirms long-term existing suspicions. It would have been going on for years without her realizing it. It makes sense to her that she could be fighting it, winning even, and not know, managing her own memories or losing them in skirmishes. This certainly wouldn't be the first time she's uncovered it. It makes sense that Adam, naturally gifted with the mental equivalent of a thick layer of blubber, could stand on the edge of the conflict and dimly be able to perceive it. And the division so understaffed. People are disappearing around here. And what if, she begins and stops dead in the middle of the thought, as if the thought itself was stolen out from under her. And what if we got back together and... She begins again, and this time hard instinct seizes her around the midsection and bodily hauls her back from thinking a thought which it knows would kill her. She's Wile E. Coyote. She's already run off the edge of a precipice into clear air, and thinking that thought would be like looking down. She feels SCP-4987 moving around her, abstractly bound to her, a winking speck of glitter in her eye. Something's wrong.
You see that?
Adam scratches at his own eye. How can you see that?
I have a mild immunity to antimemetic influence. He knows it's in his file. He knows Wheeler has read the file, but apparently it needs to be said again. I can tell when something is fritzing with my memories. I can resist it up to a point. So, Marion, I was hoping to have a nice, relaxed conversation and get around to this topic organically, but I'm going to have to skip to the end. I have the impression that SCP-4987 is trying to kill me.
No, that's not its behavior model. It doesn't sustain itself that way by eating people. It eats memories, and it's never done this. Not to you, not to me, not to anybody, not since the very early days. It's tame. It does exactly what I tell it to do. Even when I'm writing and bored and I let it eat my short-term memory, it sits around and waits to be told to eat.
Then what is it doing to us? Adam is getting nervy and he will not let go of his eye. He stands up and backs away. I would like it if we could figure this out quickly. We don't have a way to put SCP-4987 down.
There's a sound in Wheeler's mind, but not in her ear, like a distant chorus of baying dogs. She stands too and moves after Adam into the middle of the containment unit. It's trying to protect you.
How? How does wiping your memory of me protect me?
I can't explain, and I can't explain why I can't explain. I don't fully understand myself. There's a redacted.
A what?
You can't be here. You can't be in my life. You have to leave or you are going to die.
I'm not leaving you, Adam says. Fucking hell, that's why we did it in the end. Got married. I mean, it was scintillatingly obvious to both of us very early on that we were forever, but I wanted to get it on the public record. I stood up in front of everybody I respect and I swore to them that I would protect you forever.
SCP-4987 is agitated. Wheeler feels it flitting around the room, incoherent, trying to tell her what it needs. She says with sudden...
Actinic.
What is that?
No idea, but it's a lovely word.
Actinic clarity. I must have made an identical promise.
Adam doubles over, blinded in both eyes now. Closing his eyes does nothing. Covering his eyes Does nothing. The gold-white light is strobing for him, moving into violet. He panics. Help! Help me! Help me! I can't see! He reaches out unsteadily for Wheeler's hand. She lets him take it and pull her close. The light doesn't fade. He clings to Wheeler for a few minutes, and she holds on to him until he realizes that SCP-4987 is completely within her control. And this is intentional. You're going to do this, Adam says. This is the Foundation mandate. This is what your definition of protect amounts to. You've got no idea of what you're about to do to yourself. You don't even know me.
I think I know.
You will feel sick. You will feel this for the rest of your life. Every day you will wake up with a sick, cold feeling in your stomach where there used to be a real life, and you will wonder why.
I'm going to win this war. I'll beat the universe, and then I will come and figure out why.
Adam holds on to her for another long moment. He can hear the baying now too, and he can even barely perceive what it is far off beyond the hill that SCP-4987 is frantic about. That distant dot, that fleeting second-hand glimpse of the shape of it, far off, is enough to terrify him. He has faith. He knows how fast Marion can put the jigsaw pieces together, work against a universe which makes no sense to her, isolate the truth. He knows she can take the universe, but a sharp misgiving jabs him in the stomach, and he can't stop himself saying, "And what if you lose?"
She kisses him. It's a stranger's kiss. There's nothing there Adam recognizes. He breaks off, unsettled, in a whisper now.
What if you lose? Wheeler exits the containment unit.
She slams the deadlocks and deadlocks the door with a single movement. The heavy metallic crack makes the whole building shake. There are people outside. Goss, Julie Still, and a few others comparing notes. They look appalled. Fill in his backstory. He was never married. Relocate him to where I'll never find him. Incinerate all the evidence, then report to me for surgical memory erasure. I'll do myself last. Goss looks as if he has an objection, and she stares him down. My husband's dead. And that's where we'll leave it. Shall we take a little break to let everybody breathe for a second?
I believe you need this.
She's... Be her, admire her, avoid her at all costs. Some horrible, wonderful Venn diagram of the three. Cajones. Cajones of solid brass, that woman. My God!
The moment where he realizes she knows what she's doing.
Hawkeye's got how dare affectionate. How dare. Actinic. I'm going to go look up what actinic means because I don't know. But everybody, we are going to take a little bit of an ad break. And then please get yourself some water. If you haven't stood up since we've been streaming, please stand up and have a little stretch. Get yourself some water. Look up what actinic means. You know, hug a loved one and make sure you haven't banished their memory from the universe. And we will be back with some nice little fluffy processing and brain sorbet, shall we? Okay. Let's see if this button still works. We'll find out. We'll be right back. the intrinsic property in radiation that produces photochemical activity. So bright in the literal sense, not so much in the intellect sense. I like it. It's also a very, very good word.
She is migrating him out of her life.
Okay, we've got a minute until the ad break comes back, so let's save it. Let's save it for the camera. But holy crap, right?
I really like Adam.
Ruthie Cat is trying her best to convince me she also needs pancakes.
Well,
Ruthie Cat is right.
Well, she has not been fed for 100 years.
Obviously, Mother, you just haven't fed this poor child. Okay, well, in the meantime, while we're processing our emotions.
We follow a fantastic game designer who has a huge idiot cat called Onion. And a little while ago they tweeted about, was woken up this morning because Onion had worked out how to open the rice cooker. And I was woken up by screams in between mouthfuls of hot rice. And just the image of this cat eating hot rice going, ow, ow, Mom, my face hurt, ow, rice. Ow, ow, Mom, my face hurts. Oh, rice.
Jayon's cat.
Onion is the best. Yes.
Is this the cat in question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Bless them. Sometimes the kitties are just pretty. They ain't all that bright.
Sometimes they're small demons, and sometimes they're just what?
Yeah, sometimes they are just fools, for sure.
The first cat that was not intelligent I ever met was a friend's, and I remember dangling a piece of string in front of it, and it was batting at it quite happily. And I took the string away and talked to him for a little bit and looked back, and the cat was still going. And after about
Bobby!
and after about 10 seconds, you can see it going, oh, I'm doing it again.
I mean, and some cats will just, style it out, right?
Yes.
They'll, just, I meant to do that. That was cool, and you missed it. This guy looks like you could see the realization in real time kind of affect the neuroprogramming.
You could almost hear the...
I'm currently in the process of relearning how to read for pleasure after my degree, but I've got the writing and rewriting bit down already. Nice. Well done. So
how is everyone?
So how's everyone? A little light, entertaining content before bed, I think. Oh my... I can't remember what's precisely happens next.
Oh, I can.
I do know that we are about to enter all the body horror.
You know that incident that's referenced in Adam's file?
The redacted... Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Okay. All right.
The reason why I am playing Adam as slightly frantically cheerful is the way that I read that, and you will see it when we get to it, is that breaks him completely.
I am in pain, thank you very much. You're welcome. Before we do go on to shenanigans, just a reminder that please do financially support our wonderful author.
Good Lord, yes.
You can pick up a copy of this
best.
book. I'm reading it off my Kindle, by all means. The story text is also available for free in different formats because, of course, this was... I mean, we're going to talk about this more when we finish the book and do the interview, about how it was a series of, blog pieces, and then, the orders of them were kind of mashed up and put together and then kind of novelized as we're performing it here for you. By the way, excellent domestic argument. Thank you very much. Well done. But please do support the author because they don't write good, and it hurts so good, very much so.
It does indeed, and which I'm so sorry.
I am looking forward to how this story goes, but also I am very scared for all these characters. Yes, accurate.
You
good.
100% should be frightened for all these people.
You finished the book already. Well done, KDB.
You will notice one of them has already died.
Right?
Once.
Yeah, exactly. Rebesco, I'm not sure if Quantum has a Kofi or other, right? We already saw how Marion dies, for sure. Which is weird that we're now reading her stuff. But okay, let's move on. Quantum, there have been requests. There's a request in the chat that if you do have a Ko-fi or a Patreon or other financial support mechanism, by all means, please throw it in the chat. Meanwhile, we are going to go into our lovely bisexually covered shenanigans for the evening. Well, colored at least, there we go. With a little more from our wonderful, long-running Shiny Opal. Okay, we need to give Shiny Opals the same title that we give Nate for... Shiny Opals is to our shenanigans what Nate Crowley is to our opening monologues. She is our fine purveyor of wares, of which we enjoy greatly.
I would honestly be okay with them both being part of the house band. I mean, it's a
house band.
It's a house band.
Okay, we're just staffing the house band at this point.
Wendy, when you're watching on the VOD, house band t-shirts.
Yes, there we go. Please recommend it to your coolest and most influential friends, and thank you. Yes, exactly. Shiny Opals, I will take it. All right, we are forming the Night Cheese House Band. There we go.
Did we do this on full lid? Did we do Antimemetics Division on full lid? Should I be very worried that I can't remember whether we've done Antimemetics Division on full lid?
It would be appropriate, let's just say. Let's see if Google can save us here. Full lid.
Oh,
there
boy.
is no Antimemetics Division.
Why are the elevators in the building really broken?
No, it does not appear we have reviewed this.
Okay, go and do something about that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But after we do a little more searching to make sure that we haven't actually done that, because this has gotten... Congratulations, you played yourself right in front of the shenanigans. Good job, honey.
I don't feel good.
Good job. It's okay. We'll have some ice cream.
Okay.
Have some ice cream.
Okay.
And not have my mind parasite eat your existence, and it'll all be fine. It'll all be fine. Okay.
Yay.
Let's go back to poor season 3 John, looking for help through the hell of his existence. I think it's only in the full lid because you mentioned the Night Cheese stream. I think it is as well.
KB.
I don't think we've actually reviewed the novel itself yet. All right, here we are. Ask an exec. You've got questions. An update from our most complex long-term contributor, June 21st, 2017. Guess I'll get a big glass of don't worry about it. Exactly. Our long-term writer, now somewhat affectionately nicknamed Cult Guy, since, spoiler alert, his place of employment is apparently a cult, is back in touch with an update and a question about professional norms. To go back to the beginning, click here, or to read his previous email, click here.
Dear Abigail, in the time since I last wrote, I have spent an unfortunate amount of time doing what can perhaps be described as verifying the threat that Eli claimed existed, and thus justified his project, as I described it in a previous email. This was not entirely by choice. I would prefer not to dwell on the subject. Nevertheless, I can confirm there is a real and pressing danger to life. The simplest explanation I can give is that it's from an opposing cult to mine, and they plan to harm a significant number of people. I believe Eli's desire to stop them to be primarily selfish but genuine. Life.
Yeah, John, keep telling yourself that.
I'm going to have to leave the country in the near future in pursuit of these goals. Once again, leaving my team to their own devices. This time my absence will at least be consensual, but still, I worry. Tom has withdrawn from me entirely. I do not think I should push him. Basima, from what little I've seen of her, is well enough. Dahlia's contract fortunately takes her away from our office. I am planning to ask her to keep an eye on my team. She's not good, but she's strong, and she's the best I have when I am away. Melody has made repeated attempts to assassinate Eli. This is not overly conducive to a productive workplace. Unfortunately, Eli has assured us he has some equivalent of mutually assured destruction were he to be killed, so I have to stop her from doing the deed. Frankly, it sometimes feels like quite a lot to ask, and it's not exactly improving mine and Melody's strained relationship. I think Eli knows this. Marvin is a breath of fresh air, a constant worry to me. He should be somewhere better. He deserves somewhere better. I can't help him. He keeps helping me. We've hardly talked. I'm afraid the target on my back will spread to him, but God, I'm about to leave the country, and I don't know how to tell him. He's working too much, and I'm worried. He's the only one I can count on. Would it be unprofessional to invite him to mine to dinner, just to say thank you for his friendship? Reluctantly yours, Cult Guy.
Dear Cult Guy, why am I not surprised to hear you're in the middle of assassination attempts these days? I am also not unconcerned by the comments about not by choice regarding your investigations into a second cult. I know you're concerned about Eli's connections, but please at least consult with a lawyer. Surely this mutually assured destruction, as you call it, cannot be bulletproof. And I know I don't truly know the ins and outs here, but whatever this project is, don't lose sight of yourself. Take time away from your work. Look after yourself. Breathe. See your doctors and therapists and counselors, plural. See the sights when you travel. The weight of the world is not on your shoulders alone. Regarding Marvin, he sounds like a good friend to you right now. I'm going to be honest, I've gone in circles with my reply here. At first look, yes, your closer friendship with Marvin is likely verging on unprofessional, and you shouldn't prioritize one assistant over the others. Then on reconsideration, I was tempted to tell you to screw professional norms. You work for a cult, apparently. However, I've circled back around to a more conservative answer once again. Professional norms don't just exist to make us sticks in the mud. They exist to make us comfortable with the people we're stuck with. By your own account, you and Marvin, and Tom, Melody, Basima, and Dahlia are all stuck together to a far greater degree than in any normal job. I'm sorry, losing my place. Marvin likely also views you as his superior. It's extremely important that you don't exacerbate an already tense situation, or put Marvin in a position where he feels obliged to accept or return your hospitality. If it's the done thing at your organization, lunch or even drinks at a neutral location would be better. However, your best bet may be to give him positive written feedback about the good work he's done and make sure it's personalized and truthful. In addition, make it clear to him that, should he ever get away, you'll provide a good reference.
Top comments. Holy shit.
This...
Cult Guy!
Cult Guy!
Cult Guy!
Cult Guy!
Cult Guy! Hi.
Just glad to see you're alive, buddy.
Cult Guy!
Where's your vacation?
It's not a vacation, it's a research trip, and I'd rather not say. But there's a reason I'm posting at 3 a.m. UK time.
I have definitely seen you post at 3 a.m. UK time before, just saying.
Wait, Melody is genuinely trying to kill your boss and she hasn't been fired. Incredible, can I work for you? While the job security is arguably a benefit in certain circumstances, I feel as though you should read back for some of my other letters if you are still asking that question.
How's she been doing it?
Unsuccessfully.
Oh, come on. Give us something juicy.
I'm not going to tell you how to attempt to murder your boss. Google it like a normal person. Also, no, it wasn't clear.
I think you'd be fine having Marvin to dinner, by the way. Way less weird than the rest of the shit going down in your lives.
You think so?
Unless it's going to get you in trouble with Eli or... Something for breaking your cult rules. I mean, sure. I mean, it depends a bit on your organization, but I've been to my boss's house and it wasn't that weird.
It would probably be more as friends than as boss and employee.
Hey, OP, the one caution I interject here is that it's easy for you to let those boundaries fall away, but for Marvin, I mean, you still have authority over him. That's where some of my concern comes from. He might feel pressured into saying or doing certain things because you're his manager.
I will concede I don't truly know his mind, but while I'm not confident in much these days, I am confident he sees me as more of a friend than as his manager. Even on days I fear the worst, I am choosing to believe that. You have a point that Eli may cause trouble. I do not wish to bring attention to Marvin.
When you say not entirely by choice, what exactly does that mean?
I would prefer not to discuss it, thank you.
But there were two cults now. A good cult and an evil cult?
There are two cults, yes. It's perhaps not an entirely accurate term, but it will do. Neither of them are good.
Did you not do the back read?
Why does everyone like this guy if he works for an evil cult? That seems pretty problematic.
Don't we all work somewhere evil?
Please shut up about capitalism.
Nobody said you had to like him. I'm sure plenty of people are just reading along.
Because he's obviously trying not to be evil.
More blackmail?
No.
Did Eli threaten to kill you?
No. Probably not. A lot of what he says is vaguely threatening, but not specifically.
Did you, get beaten up or something?
I've said I would prefer not to discuss the matter, thank you.
Hey, so OP, is Marvin cute?
Don't think I don't see what this is. You're not remotely subtle.
He has a lovely smile.
Yes, high fives called it.
Oh, shut up. And he has freckles. Wait, there's somebody posting here called Definitely Not OP. He says he has a lovely smile.
Is this Martin?
And he has freckles. Tell me more, tell me more! Alright, I'm not trying to be unnecessarily harsh, OP, but this is possibly another reason why you should be extremely cautious around your overtures of friendship with Marvin. Workplace relationships are a bad idea for a whole host of reasons, and when you add a manager-employee dynamic into that, it only multiplies the problems. The fact that you can't fire him while having the dubious benefit of at least meeting one potential avenue for management abuse is removed from consideration, and please don't take this personally, it's a factor that must be considered. It only exacerbates the fact that were any relationships to run into problems, neither of you would be able to get away from each other.
Thank you for your advice.
Oh no, please don't. I hate workplace relationship drama. It's the worst. Dealing with an obstinate... Oh, we have a little bit of time, yeah? Oh yeah, we're doing good on that.
We're doing great, doing great.
My God.
Do it live.
Dealing with an obstinate finance department, July 6th, 2017.
Definitely not OP is John, by the way. Yes!
Oh yeah.
Great.
Right? Has to be. Our old friend Cult Guy is back in touch. Click here to read his emails from the beginning. This time he's dealing with a problem many of us will sympathize with. A rules lawyering finance department.
Dear Abigail, as mentioned in my previous letter, I've been recently doing some business travel. I've now returned, and it has been 1 week since I was last kidnapped, so I'm taking that as a win. I have a question regarding finance and expenses. Whilst overseas, Whilst overseas, I had to make a number of long international phone calls, and racked up a hefty bill. These calls were all to Marvin, and I had a clear business reason for all of them that I have documented. Finance is quibbling over the call length and the time of day. Marvin was frequently willing to assist me after hours in the UK, and I informed Finance, if anything, he was due a pay rise. They are instead trying to refuse my expenses. They're also taking issue with the fact that once I escaped being kidnapped, again, which kept me under the per diem for several days, mind you, I sprang for a slightly over-budget hotel.
Oh my God.
I am considering breaking into the safe with the petty cash, but Marvin has pointed out they may yet get me arrested, even if it probably won't get me fired. Have you any suggestions for dealing with an obstinate finance team? Regards, Cult Guy.
I just have this image of Abigail.
Just like... Yeah. Keep them coming. Intern, more...
Dear Cult Guy! Well, I generally recommend trying not to get arrested, although I'm surprised you don't consider that a potential perk. My usual advice at this point would be to resort to policy. Most places of work should have a handbook or a policy regarding both expenses claims and how to get them processed, as well as details about an escalation procedure in case of issue. In a typical place of work, you would likely be advised to either talk to the manager of whoever's processing your expenses, your own manager, or possibly even an HR department. Prior to doing so, I would advise you to have everything in writing. For example, email your finance team with a list of expenses, when you expect payment, and ask for a written reply confirming this. And if they refuse, ask for a reason in writing. This could be taken further up the chain of command. I'm assuming that in your case, there isn't a policy, or some of the points of escalation are known murderers, or most likely both. In this case, I would recommend, if possible, identifying if there was anyone more senior but safe for you to raise this with. For example, if you're currently dealing with a junior member of staff In your finance department, you may wish to speak with their manager. That presupposes, of course, that any senior managers in the team are more interested in doing their jobs than Eli is. And to be clear, this is not an I told you so, but this is why I previously encouraged maintaining professional relationships with those of your coworkers who haven't actively committed murder. Can't believe I have to just write that. As per my first paragraph, having things written down will help you here, as we're going into the conversation with a polite, professional, and yet assertive tone. You have a justification for this money. You are owed per diem, regardless of what you spent it on, and frankly, the idea of you having a per diem and checking receipts is pointless. But if I quibbled about everything about your organization, I'd never stop, now would I? If you've tried all of the above, you may wish to do a cost-benefit analysis before you continue with anything else. Is the amount of money worth it? If your job is simply refusing to pay you, it may be that this is a lesson learned and you refuse all future field work until fully reimbursed and then paid in advance. Or it may be that by applying significantly more effort, like reminder emails, visiting their office to check on the status, following up with their manager, you may be able to apply enough pressure to move things along. But if it's worth it. P.S. Should I be addressing that whole kidnapped again?
Top comments. Oh, I strongly feel like someone ought to be addressing kidnapped again.
Holy shit, no kidding. Are you okay, Cold Guy?
I would have assumed the answer to that was at this point rather obvious.
Sending internet hugs if they're wanted. I just wish things got easier for you.
How many times have you been kidnapped? I realize I invited this, but I'd rather not discuss the specifics if it's all the same to you.
But why do you keep getting kidnapped so often, though?
As discussed, there are now multiple opposing cults in operation. I am a recognized figure within one and taking actions against a key players in another, as is Eli. Events are occurring.
Hey, if he said he didn't want to get into it, then quit questioning him.
He kept answering.
Still not our business if he doesn't want to be. Don't pressure him. The whole thing sounds awful.
Don't backseat mod.
I'm jumping in here to agree with JG. If someone shuts down the conversation about something personal and potentially upsetting, don't open it back up. And don't be an ass about it if someone calls you on it. That's etiquette.
Sorry.
Hey, you're fine here. This is your life. Obviously, sometimes we have to ask for more details to try and answer the specific question you've asked, and sometimes we can't help but be curious, but don't answer something if you don't want to. The worst that happens is you get slightly less specific or relevant advice.
I like that this column gives absolutely professional responses most of the time, no matter how bizarre the circumstances. However, in this specific case, given what we know, cult can't be fired. Just the worst. I can't help but wonder if taking some of Abigail's advice to its extreme and somewhat less professional conclusion might help. E.g., when Abigail says reminder emails, set up a mail merge that sends hundreds of emails until they reply. And when she says go to their office, just go and stay there with your laptop, your lunch, a book until they give you money.
I love the way you think.
Look, this sounds amazing on paper, but this dude is going to get himself killed if he tries this shit. His boss is literally a murderer. It's true, he is. However, as far as I know, nobody from the finance department has murdered anyone.
Cold Guy, no!
Cold Guy, yes!
Cold Guy, yes! I fully appreciate the appeal and the humor behind this idea, as well as the opportunity for our OP to get some small vengeance. We'd all enjoy the update, and obviously he's rightfully owned the money. However, on the off chance that you weren't joking, I feel obligated to state that when you want to get something done, if you're going to take the tack of being annoying as opposed to being pleasant, there's an extremely fine line between being enough of a mild irritant that they deal with you to get rid of you, and a large enough annoyance that they themselves escalate to your boss. In this case, I'm assuming Cold Guy does not want Eli's involvement at any cost.
I'm going to try this. Thanks.
Cold Guy, no!
Good news. I've been paid back. Thanks for all your advice.
OMG, please tell us what you did. What happened?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. While I am very pleased that you got what you were owed, I do hope this doesn't get you into any more trouble.
Well, I'm sure there's some horrible thing that hasn't yet been done to me, but once you've been threatened, kidnapped, or stabbed this many times, the finance director's wrath is only so terrifying.
Well, that's something at least. Hold on, did you say stabbed?
Hey, OP, did you really have a clear business reason for long-ass phone calls? Or were you just calling Marvin for a chit-chat with your bestie, whatever your preferred term is? I don't know what you could possibly mean. Winky face.
No, that is a Halo emoji. Jonathan Sims, how very dare you use a Halo emoji on this here internet?
John's done a research.
Oh my God.
He's done a research into the youth.
A research
into how the youths speak.
I am dying for next chapter. I'm just gonna say I'm dying for next chapter. I think we can do one more.
You want to do one more?
Hopefully it's not terribly. Also, I hereby request Kulkai no stickers. Kulkai yes. Kulkai no. This. We'll see if we get through it. Okay.
He knows what a meme is.
He knows what a meme is.
Yeah, explain it to Peter like 25 times. Peter, you after the first one, just kept asking.
Just asking, right?
John, remind me.
Kulkai no. I'm gonna be saying that all Archive Con. I just know it. How to deal with workplace gossip of a sensitive nature. July 14th, 2017. I must report that Robbie whispered, yes, you can do one more. Just now. Yes, we will do one more. Okay. If the name Cult Guy doesn't mean anything to you, you should check out his past letters to get the context. The TLDR is that he's a frequent emailer and he works for a cult. This email is fairly clear without all the history, except perhaps for the cast of characters and the abusive nature of his workplace. Oh, this one's less funny? Oh, okay. That's okay. We'll do it anyway.
Dear Abigail, thank you, as always, for your publication and advice.
Hokkaido!
The problem I'm currently facing is surprisingly pedestrian, given my workplace situation. I've not been kidnapped again, and the cult that is my workplace only really features as a backdrop, which I'm sure means some of the standard remedies may not apply. I am writing about a matter of workplace gossip. I don't think I've ever said so before, but a lot of my work involves audio recordings of documents. I make them myself, and when others in my team make them, I review them, and it is surprisingly easy to forget or not realize that your private conversations are being recorded if you're interrupted mid-work. Very nice lantern hanging, Opals. Well done.
Yes.
As such, I hear things others say about me and about each other.
And the motorcycle.
And the
outside.
motorcycle. The others do occasionally, but I listen to them all. I've always considered it best to ignore what is not relevant to my role as best I can. However, this week I was reviewing a recording and I overheard a conversation between Melody and Basima, and they talked about, well, me. I suppose I'll just have to come out with it. Melody outed me. She is friends with my ex. I think I've mentioned. To be clear, my identity as a queer person is personal and a little complex.
I will now go into a full lengthy paragraph of description.
I align with a number of LGBTQIA+ labels, whilst also not typically self-describing using the specifics. I am not entirely closeted, but I am not out in all facets either. I feel this is my private business and not relevant to my work. Based on what I heard on the recording, my ex, I'll call her George, she, her, would have had to have told Melody something she should know I consider private. And then Melody chose to tell Basima, and the way they spoke about me was unpleasant. I don't expect them to like me, but even if I'm not sure if it was overtly phobic, it spoke to an attitude of either refusal to understand or lack of interest in my identity. I don't know how to feel. Our relationship is strained enough as it is without me storming out of my office and throwing down some queer theory book recommendations and demanding an apology. It's normal to gossip, isn't it? But about this? I've only ever told one person I work with because it's my business. I don't think if we'd have talked about it normally, if we were the sort of team that did after-work drinks or lunches, that's probably why I've only ever told one person. One of the things I liked about the organization I work for, before I realized it's a cult, and there is a lot, of murder was the huge number of queer people working here. I don't even know that Basima and Melody are cisgender and heterosexual. Why would I? But now I'm annoyed, and I don't think I can do anything about it. I suppose I might call George and have a word. At least she still talks to me. Oh, and, well, there was another piece of gossip in that recording. They talked about Marvin. They implied that there's a chance that he might return my feelings. To confirm, romantically.
Oh, I can't wait for the comments on this one.
Is there anything I can do about that? I feel like inviting him to listen to invasive gossip and then demanding to know if it's true and if he, the subject of the gossip, likes me is not the approach I should take.
Oh my dear God, you sweet summer child.
Part of me feels he deserves to know he's being spoken of, if only so we can commiserate together. But given the tone of the conversation, I think he'd be happier not knowing. That said, if the feeling between us is mutual, perhaps there is another way I can bring this up with him without referring to workplace gossip. On the other hand, given the relatively high likelihood we are all going to die in the next few months, perhaps I shouldn't say anything to him at all. Thanks in advance. Cold guy.
Okay, you have broken the chat with your soft ooh-wee jaw on there. Thank you so much for that.
Intern puts bottle of whiskey on.
Dear cult guy, I'd love to say it's nice to hear a normal problem from you, but I'm still sorry to hear you're having it. Firstly, let me just say, it is absolutely okay for you both to be upset and annoyed by this. You're right that some workplace gossip is inevitable, but the sort of gossip you probably shouldn't bother clamping down on is a bit of moaning about deadlines or other mild things. Even if you hadn't been outed, it would be completely expected to hold your subordinates to the standards that people shouldn't be talking about each other like that. You're entitled to your privacy and to not be speculated about. On that point, you should also consider the gossip about Marvin to be something you ought to chastise them for. I'll come back to your feelings about that in a moment, but from their perspective, they were talking about a coworker behind his back. They may owe him an apology, as they do to you, although you may be right that he would prefer not to know about the conversation at all, so take that into consideration before demanding one. My recommendation would be to talk to them individually and tell them you overheard their conversation. You don't necessarily need to replay it or quote from it, but you might want to have a transcript ready in case you need to refer to it. This sort of meeting can be difficult, but hopefully they are aware office gossip of this nature isn't okay. Make sure they remember the event, ask them for their point of view, and then firmly lay down your expectations going forward. It's okay to be as blunt as, this isn't acceptable, no matter how uncomfortable it might feel for you. As for Marvin, I really feel for you that you're in a horrible position, and perhaps there are relatively few people you have that you can truly trust at the moment. My first piece of advice is that whatever you do, please do not take the word of office gossip as gospel. If you have to act, do so as if you haven't heard that tape. Without confirmation from Marvin, it doesn't mean much. Gossip can very much be accurate, as you unfortunately discovered, but it can also be meaningless. They may simply have misinterpreted your friendship. Secondly, whilst I can't begin to understand your full situation, my concerns from my previous reply to you remain. You two are still trapped together with a number of others by your own telling. You're still in a position of power above him. Those two factors really should preclude a romantic relationship. Perhaps once you're able to find a way out, assuming Marvin is still willing to leave with you, the situation will change. But for now, I urge you to be careful.
Why wouldn't he be willing to leave with me? Good Lord, that sounds extremely presumptive of me. I just mean that we work for a horrible cult where our co-workers keep getting murdered or traumatized. The only thing it's got going for it is that it pays better than minimum wage, and I've got some savings.
What do your savings have to do with it? You're not even dating him.
If the difference between any one of my assistants escaping our organization and not doing so were purely a matter of finances, then I would empty my account in a heartbeat. I would not have any one of us left behind if there was the possibility of escape.
Bitcoin bro, 69,420. Hey, OP, I've got this great investment opportunity. Click here.
Nice try. No.
I do not wish to imply anything either way. However, while you've been clear in the past that yours isn't exactly a typical cult, and you yourself seem to have too much skepticism to be someone I would think as a typical cult member, I have to, or you haven't met enough British people, I have to be open to the fact that there might be more going on than you're spelling out. Don't look at me, Mr. Not allowed to go to Derek Brown unaccompanied. You put that glare back. Thank you very much. Many cult members are not only willing, but enthusiastic, and leaving one often requires many months of deprogramming, as well as leaving family and friends behind. Not to mention there's something that brought you all to where you were, and something, whatever it is, that's keeping you there. You may wish to consider what would happen if one or some of you found an escape, but some or all of the others either weren't willing or able to join.
They'll be willing. I know they will. Marvin in particular.
For what it's worth, I really do hope you're right.
Oh, babe. What?
Cool guy!
Cold guy, queer guy!
One of us!
Yeah, boy! Happy Pride!
Happy Pride, cool guy!
Thank you, and happy belated Pride Month to you.
Cold guy!
Is everyone just ignoring the fact that he said kidnapped again?
Well, what do you want us to do with it? The question was about OP's big dumb gay crush.
I'm pretty sure the question was about OP's asshat co-workers. Don't be weird about his one nice co-worker just because he has a big dumb gay crush. Do we have to call it that?
You guys are kind of making light of potential homophobia actual outing here, you know? Like, I'm pretty sure OT puts way more weight on the outing than the thing with Marvin.
No comment.
Hey, Cold Guy, do you have, like, a GoFundMe or anything?
Yeah, you must have medical bills or therapy bills or something. I'll toss a few bucks your way. Oh, that is extremely kind of you to even think of offering. I do not. I wouldn't feel right accepting your assistance when there are those in far more dire financial straits than me. It means a lot that you'd ask. Thank you.
Oh, that's super rough, my guy. I've been out of work before, and I lost my job off the back of it.
Fucking at-will employment. Did you find something else?
Yeah, I'm so much better off now. Screw that place. You can do it, OP. Get the fuck out.
Thank you. I appreciate the encouragement. Good lord, is that legal?
I mean, even where it's not legal, they just fire you without telling you why.
Well, I suppose the evil murdering boss has some advantages. And suddenly we're back at my favorite Venture Brothers line.
What?
So if they don't respect you, you murder them?
Yes, that's how old we are. Original season Venture Brothers.
Original season Venture Brothers.
Big gay dumb crush. Cockeye! Cockeye, no! I'm serious. Oh, by the way, Zalia, you popping up in the chat has reminded me. When you Brit pick things for ArchiveCon, can you have an entire conversation about the word whilst? I don't know why British people seem allergic to the word while, but they all say whilst. Whilst. And I make fun of it every time because it is ridiculous.
While I understand
your concern, rude.
I do feel that whilst has a certain je ne sais quoi.
Of course it does.
To it.
It's just you like saving like hard ST endings. Whilst. It's a ridiculous word. Ridiculous word. Yeah, you can spit it much better. Like whilst. You know, you can make a meal out of it.
It's like Scottish profanity. English profanity is all go away, and Scottish profanity is all fuck off. And just very different angles of attack, you know?
Yes, very much so. All right, so we're leaving off with an unexpected update to a question I didn't even know I still had. Is this the last one? Oh, I saw the word tax. Hold on. Oh, it's just a tax write-off. Never mind. I was like... And then an unsettlingly bleak / final update from Cult Guy. Oh noes. And Shiny Opals, you've linked to our fan art in here as well. I love it. I love it so much. Fantastic. So there's 2 more sections of this one, and then we get into the season 3 finale and into chapter 4, and it makes me very happy. Right. Excellent. All right. Let us tell, we're just a little tiny bit over time. Wendy, we love you. I'm glad you're in bed watching the VOD so we can run late and not upset you. All right. Let us tell people what we have in store for next week, because we're going to be kind of naughty, and we're going to leave you on that My Husband is Dead cliffhanger for 2 weeks. Because next week, we have a special guest.
We have Mark Nixon
from Shadows at the Door is going to join us on stream next week, and we're going to have a big old chat about how on earth he got the voice acting talent that he did.
If you have not found, if you've not seen who Mark has for Shadows of the Door season 3, that guy, he got that guy.
Yes.
Whichever guy you're thinking of, there's like a 60% chance he got that guy.
Yes, exactly. And there's lots of St. Kilda alums.
And there's a bunch of St. Kilda alums. David Alt's in there. I think Kareem's in there a couple places.
Kareem was definitely in there. I saw... I'm blanking.
Rahul Kohli.
He has Rahul fucking Kohli. Rahul fucking Kohli. He got the voice direct. Rahul freaking Kohli.
The Reed Richards of my heart.
The Reed Richards of my heart, right? I'm just like Warhammer 40K's spoken son. We are going to have a lot of very fun, good questions from Mr. Mark Nixon next week. It's going to be a great chat. I'm sure we're just going to be dorking about all things dark audio drama.
There will be premium
I can't
dorkage.
Imagine what we have in common.
Yes,
right?
and
Exactly.
Sacha Dhawan.
And Sacha Dhawan, exactly. And every time I see Sacha Dhawan's name, the Rasputin just runs through my head, and I can't stop laughing.
A couple of weeks ago, he and Michelle Gomez posted something jointly on Instagram of the pair of them sashaying down a very fancy-looking staircase.
Ooh.
I wonder if the 2 funnest incarnations of the Master in just ages are going to hang out.
Oh god, the fic writes itself. Pond flirting with Pond! The Mastervert. Oh! Okay, I can hear AO3 spinning up audibly from here.
I think a lot about line deliveries that live rent-free in my head.
Lavalish, we live to make podcast recommendations. We can, if we do that, there will be, you will just be inundated with many. Or come to ArchiveCon. I think there's an entire panel and a channel being run of podcast recommendations.
Yeah, I think there are. But Michelle Gomez's delivery on, that was really very clever. You know what? I'm starting to see you as something other than sandwiches.
I know.
Just that and...
They're right. The fancy staircase was in some of the promo pics for the...
Yes, it was.
The Not Bridgerton Honest episode.
Yes, it was.
Oh my god, are they in that?
Oh, please give me the 2 fanciest incarnations of the Master at a ball with George III. If I've not said this on stream...
we need to say that theory. Yes.
I'm calling this now. Jonathan Groff is in that episode, the originator of George III in Hamilton.
In the original Broadway Hamilton.
Marguerite has a theory this episode is set in that time period.
And they're going to have him play George III!
They're going to have him play George III.
Which would make Hamilton like Doctor Who canon! Ah!
Even if they don't, given it's Groff, I all but guarantee you at one point someone will leave the shot and he will go, he'll be back.
You're right. I'm betting they're gonna work that line in some way. That would make my day. That would absolutely make my day. Dr. Hamilton, right? Exactly. Right. So, what is today?
Today is Wednesday. On Friday, this week's Full Lid will go live, which will definitely have orcas in it. Seriously, there's a lot of fucking orcas this week.
Yes, exactly. And I think you're reviewing the DC Book of Pride.
I'm reviewing the DC Book of Pride by friend of the Lids, Jadzia Axelrod, which is lovely. And it's basically, here are 150 or so DC LGBTQIA plus characters, who they are and where you can find them. Go find them.
Oh, you know. Exactly. Yes, unionized orcas. Cook, I know. I'm just going to keep saying it because it's funny. And then on Sunday, we are going to be starting Chapter 2
of Coffee Talk.
Coffee Talk, which will be very, very fun. And I'm looking forward to it.
Boys are in there somewhere. I sense it.
I think
the lads
are in there somewhere, and I've got to see them.
They might even have faces.
And they might even have faces. And then next week we'll have the incredible Mr.
Orcas, yes!
Orcas, yes! Exactly. Please continuing destroying rich people's property. Please! You make me so very happy. My sister's fiance studies orcas, and I've been sending them all the memes about yacht sinking. Excellent.
Good. This is the right answer.
Exactly.
So, yeah, the next 3 things are Full Late on Friday, Coffee Talk, Season 2
Which
on
has to be said in a
Chapter
funny
2
voice 'cause I said that.
on Sunday, and then freaking Mark A. freaking Nixon from Shadows at the Door next Wednesday.
Exactly. It's a good... and ArchiveCon this weekend.
And, of course, the magnificent ArchiveCon this weekend, which we're so excited about being part of. It's so cool to be us back.
It's going to be really fun. I hope it's going to be cooler. But it's going to be really fun. And I think with that, we will leave all of you... I cannot wait to hear Marguerite lawyer talk. So Marguerite talking is lawyer talk. Marguerite does way too much lawyer talking. But yes, we will do lawyer nerding! Can I give this presentation as Debbie?
Probably.
Can I make all the examples I use in the presentation?
Fake case histories.
As Debbie. I'm gonna write that down.
It's a very good idea.
And it's your fault, Pine, and I hope you're happy about it. Okay. Wrap this up for me, would you?
Thank you so much for joining us, folks. It has, as ever, been a delight. I've been Alistair.
I've been Marguerite.
And this has been fun. We'll see you next time.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you very much. Love to Wendy. We hope you're feeling better. And we'll see you all at ArchiveCon this weekend. Let's see if this button works. Cross your fingers.